Hello everybody, it's the 16th of January 2022, and as I promised in the last video when I was putting together this turntable that it's on now, I'm going to be working on this Liquidambar, which was a nursery plant I bought in 2020, I think. It definitely went into this pot last spring, 2021, and yeah, there is a playlist for all my trees, but there is a playlist for this tree, so you can go back and look at its history, as it were. And today what I want to be doing with it is some wiring, some pruning, and trying to bring it back down slightly. It got very long and lanky. I wanted to allow it to grow freely after its first root prune to get it established into this pot, and it has established very well. You can tell by the feel that it's firmed up very nicely in the pot. And so I gave it its head a little bit, and it's grown a lot of very long, very tall, straight pieces, some of which I'm going to cut back. So, as always, drinks can for scale. So without further ado, I'm going to have a look at this branch, which I kind of liking. I perhaps, in a future repot, if I bring this over, I will have to move the tree over a little more, but at the moment I'm thinking this branch could come down, and that would be quite attractive. So I don't like this straight piece, so I'm going to see if I can get a bit of bend into that at the same time. Now, for the most part, I'm going to continue using up these odds and sods of wire that I've been using over the years, and reduce, reuse, recycle, but I am, for this branch, going to break out a Christmas present I had last year and I haven't had cause to use yet, which was this rather nice rack of wire. I really shouldn't have just dumped it in the shed. I promised myself I was going to treat it with some wood preservatives because it was just plain wood, and it has gone a little mouldy, but I will rectify that. Yeah, the wire I have here on this I think will probably last me the rest of my life, but there you go. I'm going to use some of this, I think this is 3 or even 4mm wire on this particular branch. Okay, so I'm going to anchor it around the trunk. It is definitely easier to wire a tree with a new piece of wire that hasn't got any curves in it already, definitely, but I still think reusing is the way forward if you can, and I shall continue to do so for as long as I can. Okay, so one thing about this turntable is it moves remarkably easily, and that may not always be helpful. So what I might do at another time is drill a hole through the top and bottom board so I can put a peg through and lock it into place. I think that might be a handy thing to do, but there we go. Okay, so what I want to do now is to put a bit of a bend, and it's very brittle, and it has in fact snapped part way through just there. So that's about as far as I'm going to be able to take it. I'm hoping that that will heal. Still fairly straight, but I can live with that. It's not too terrible. It's only just cracked, so I think it will probably be okay. Should heal reasonably well. Well, and it snapped again at that point, but it has given me a gentle curve, and as I say, it's not gone all the way through. I'm hoping it will heal. Not ideal, but sometimes that's just the way it is. I do remember now that I had an issue with some breakage in the spring and summer when I tried to move things around, so perhaps that's just the thing with this species. It's definitely something I need to be aware of as we go off further. Okay, so I don't want it coming too far this way. I'm going to prune some of this back. I don't want to lose all of its ramification. Not that it's got a huge amount, but let's just prune that back a little. This is an odd branch that's growing out of the top, but I quite like it. I'm going to shorten it to there, and I'm going to put a little piece of wire just to fan it out slightly. Out and down and up. That puts an interesting piece of movement in there. Yes, it is indeed a very brittle tree. I've just moved that and it's almost snapped entirely all the way off, so I'm going to nip it off. And it looks like only the finest twigs are going to be easily bendable. So I take off that dead stub and that dead stub. It'll be interesting to see how well those do heal. I would like to bring this down if I can. I'm a bit worried about snapping that one, but there we go. I don't think it's going to be a tree you can put big wild bends into, but hopefully I can bring it over. I'm wondering whether I would achieve that better with a piece of wood or something as a kind of lever pushing it out rather than wiring. And that's what I'm going to try. Okay, 10 minutes later, I can't find a piece of wood suitable. So what I'm going to try and do is make something out of this 4mm wire. Roughly cut that like so. And then I want to put a bend in the end. How well that's showing up. Hopefully the tree will nestle like so, and then let's bring that down to about there. So if I do the same, there, hopefully got a kind of C shape with the curly ends. Perfect. Okay, that appears to be holding, giving that a much better angle. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Be interesting to see whether it gradually pulls and twists that branch, but for now I'm going to shorten these pieces, as wiring doesn't seem to be a thing that this tree likes particularly. As I say, some of these growths are really quite long and straight and boring. Interestingly, I don't know how well the camera is picking that up, but we still have green leaves at the very tip. Let's see if I can't move you in a little bit closer without making you dizzy. Let's move in. Yeah, the very tip of the branches still has some green leaves that it's not lost. In fact, might even be some sprouting, but there you go. Very odd weather we've been having. Okay, let's see what else we can do. I'm going to cut that a little long. Let's try not to snap it. I definitely think putting a pin in this turntable will be good. So that's something I can address quickly and easily without an issue. If only all problems were quite so simple to solve. No. I'm not going to try and save that. It does kind of come out of the front of the trunk anyway. We'll just lose that one. There's a bud here that will come out in this direction, so no terrible harm done. quite a bit of congestion in this piece. I'm going to cut back that. So now I just have 2 shoots coming out of the end, rather than 4. I'm going to lose that, and that. Okay, so let's see what else. Don't like this piece that's coming from this piece. Gonna lose it. I'm gonna shorten that and that and that. There's a dead stub in there. Can come off. I'm gonna shorten that. I'm going to try and bring this branch down. Waiting for the snap, but there was none this time, which is nice. Okay, so gonna shorten that one and that one and that one. Take off that dead stub, dead piece there. Still not entirely certain about that. It's kind of poking straight forward, and it also kind of lines up with this one. Yeah, see if I can move that to the side. I may need a larger gauge wire for this. And yes, I have a wire crossing here, and the books will tell you shouldn't do that. But I can live with a little bit of rule breaking. That's better. I just really didn't like that piece poking straight out at me. I'm going to leave that long piece of wire sticking out of the top again. Again, the books would say cut it off, but I don't want to, because then when I take it off, I'll have a shorter piece of wire. In fact, what I think I can do is place a hook on there, and that will just move that branch into a slightly less straight position. Let me just show you how I mean. Again, let me repeat. I don't tell people this is how you should do bonsai. This is only how I do bonsai. This piece of wire, the books would say cut off here, but I'm allowing it to come across so I don't waste that extra length that I cut off, and that piece is just pushing that branch over into that position, whereas it was very vertical before. Okay, one more piece I want to do. And again, I'm just going to shorten it back to a bud, like so. There. As I say, down and dirty, but get the job done. That's shortened the tree considerably, more so this side than this side, but I think I need to get some more growth on this side, so I pruned it slightly harder. The old saying being that the harder you prune, the more vigorously a tree or a bush will respond. We will find out if that's true. So let's give you a 360. That's made the tree more three-dimensional. It still looks a little odd being bigger this side than that side, but as I say, it will catch up. And maybe in the next repot I can move it over by an inch or two this direction. I think would balance it up anyway, but we'll see how it looks by midsummer. Thank you so much for watching. Please do take care of yourselves. Do the YouTube, like, subscribe, etc. and comment. Let me know what you think. But most of all, stay safe, everybody.